Hi, folks. Welcome to Spark Igniting Minds. We are excited to have Dr. Mangayakarasi with us once again. With over 32 years of enriching experience in teaching English literature, Dr. Mangayakarasi has been a guiding light for many students and scholars. Her prolific contributions to international research, including studies on literary classics and their Bollywood adaptations, and the use of Bollywood adaptations of Shakespeare plays as a teaching tool in modern classrooms highlight her innovative approach to literature and education. As a dedicated coordinator for the English Language Teachers Association, Dr. Mangayakarasi has played a crucial role in organizing panel discussions and conferences, fostering a vibrant community of educators, and promoting the advancement of English language teaching. In this episode, we explore the captivating world of English fiction and imaginative writing. Welcome, Dr. Mangayakarasi. Namaste, Dr. Mangayakarasi, ma'am. It's a pleasure to have you again for this episode on English fiction and imaginative writing. Let us deep delve into this subject, as you have been a mentor to many of the fiction writers, and even you have encouraged them to come up with novels. Being this as your background, I'm going to ask you a few questions of what writing fiction is all about. So, my first question to you is one of the author had said the rule of reading is after reading a new book, you should never read another new book before you read an old book. Okay, this is about the classics. Like, how do you believe reading literary classics will help to understand the global world and also the contemporary life?
Classics
Yes.
that influences our lives,
Yeah.
mainly the mind.
Hmm.
It rejuvenates our mind, I shall say. Classics, it deals deeply into the cultural background, and the impact of classics helps the upcoming writers to get a new idea. When you integrate that into their writing, that really paves way for a new world,
Okay.
new
Correct.
global world.
Yes.
Earlier, classics can be seen through the adopted versions now. Youngsters, they have no opportunity to get back to their couch and read classics. It actually ignites the creative process. But these adaptations, it paves way for them to get into the classics once again, to come up with their new ideas, creative ideas.
Because, doctor, these classics, they were created when there was no digital world, when there was no access to the information, and it was purely the thoughts, the complete mind of a person, which used to come out of the paper. And they have really written very beautifully, gone very deep, and then they have come out with that kind of a culture and everything. And I think definitely that has an impact on the contemporary world also, because you can take relevance from those classics and write contemporarily. So that was a very fantastic answer, Dr. Mangayakarasi, and I think that helps the writers why they should go back to classics and take examples from them and how they dealt and putting their own new application of mind and really getting into the internet, collecting information. They can come up with beautiful books, beautiful contemporary novels. Then, coming to the components of imaginative writing. Imaginative writing is a unique blend of both creativity and technique. Okay, so what do you think? What do you consider, Doctor, while dealing with this imagination, successfully coming up with new novels?
Yeah. Imagination, um, you could create something when you have something in store.
Yeah,
So you should be an avid reader to be imaginative.
right.
When you have something, then it will kindle your mind to come up with a new idea. So imaginative writing is nothing but reading continuously to learn something, to get some cue from their reading.
Okay.
So imaginative is like Harry Potter, for example.
Oh, that's a
That's the finest
wonderful,
example.
fantastical.
Finest example.
Yes.
So Harry Potter, how that has become popular. Everybody, all youngsters these days, now we say reading is dwindling. But when they launch the next volume or something, there are so many waiting to get that first copy of that novel.
Correct.
So that is the finest example how imagination can
And
attract.
she really travels into a different world
altogether.
altogether. It's not this world, it's not this real world, it's some fantasy world that she goes into.
Yeah.
So, when coming to the modern adaptations, because Bollywood has been adapting many of the novels and coming up with new films, like maybe Sanjay Leela Bansali, you have worked immensely on these subjects and submitted international papers to both on Sanjay Leela Bansali and Shakespeare, how these adaptations was taken to the Bollywood. What is your perspective? How does it really have an impact? Like, what is the perception of the original novel, and also what is the relevance to the modern era?
Bollywood really helps.
Yeah.
Film adaptations mainly.
Yeah.
We are working on film adaptations now. Even you made a mention in my publications, it dealt with Sanjay Leela Bansali's film.
Which was a film
Shakespeare,
actually?
Omkar.
Omkar.
How Othello and how Hamlet and others can be come into the screen in a different way.
Right.
It was Elizabethan theatre. It was Shakespearean theatre, a different one, and that was brought alive by Bollywood directors in their movies. So even the nomads can appreciate the greatness and richness of Shakespeare, the characterization of Shakespeare, the love it was dealt by Shakespeare, the Romeo and Juliet, and everything. It really helps the young budding learners, viewers, to appreciate the greatness of Shakespeare. So these film adaptations expresses in a beautiful way. Sometimes we say we just dilute the level and the richness of writing and other things. but at the same time, the techniques can be adopted. The techniques can be appreciated by the youngsters. So all these, when it comes as a package in a film medium, if they'll find they'll be running out of time. So this film medium helps them to enjoy that classics.
Okay.
For example, in Tamil, we have Ponniyin Selvan. Kalki's
Oh,
Ponniyin Selvan.
yeah. It's a
That was
beautiful movie.
adopted and it was released recently.
It's a historical text which was adapted into a
Exactly.
movie.
Even the horse, the way
The
it
trotting of the
reaches,
horse.
the spy, when they reach the place, even the sound of the horse, it was just beautifully described by the reader.
Correct.
That can be imagined by the writer. So it is the writer's responsibility to create that effect into the minds of the readers.
Yes.
So when it comes to the film medium,
Right.
so it was assumed by them in a different way as a reader.
Right.
When they see it in the film, when it was filmed, they take more pain to bring out the same impact into the film mode,
Yeah.
visual mode.
Yeah.
So the same tuck, 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 that horse, it was beautifully brought out in the
Yeah.
film medium. So when I had a discussion with my students, when I dealt Ponniyin Selvan in classroom, and how it was in the visual mode, that was discussed with my students once we watched that movie. So that's really helps new generation.
And that makes your mind more fertile and come up with new ideas. Okay, keeping this as a base, you can come up with the writers can come up with new imaginations, new ideas, and that when the textual content is visualized and shown in the form of a movie, that has a greater impact. Writers also.
Even British Council, they show the movies, the play as a movie, and they come up and the theatre.
Yeah,
And the theatre
really
and adaptations, National Theatre, and all these. When they come up with the visual mode, British Council make arrangement for our learners to view that and come up with feedback. They come up with lot of screenings, and then they help readers as a library. It's not only circulating their books, at the same time they give opportunity for readers and students to watch the movie and share their feedback. So these adaptations, it really helps.
Maybe as you mentioned, whether it is Othello, Macbeth, Julius Caesar, or whatever, the Midsummer's Night Dream, or the Shakespearean stories, it is all very unique. And the language that he has used, no one has used that language. That language itself, especially when it is adapted into the theatre and the dialogue is delivered, that has a different impact altogether.
Exactly. Shakespeare, when you connect it with young days, he uses the influence of Shakespeare in English language. Salad days.
Huh?
Salad days.
Salad days.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Fresh salad. It's
okay, it's fresh.
How it was fresh. Salad days, like that. There are so many coinages, so many.
He has coined so many words. So many.
Milton.
Yeah,
Influence
Milton
of
also.
Milton. All these writers, they came up with so much of ideas, and then the sentences and it.
And the intensity in which they deliver the dialogue.
Yeah. The writing style itself. You can adopt the style of writing. And one of our scholars worked on Bible, narrative style of Bible. The narrative style plays a pivotal role.
Right.
We have to teach our young learners to write well. Writing workshops really helps them to adopt a new style. Even examination, I use that in class. In my teaching, I tell them, don't write whatever is there. Don't repeat whatever there in the text. We don't require that. Scientific facts alone can be repeated. Even scientific facts can be interpreted in your own words. Like that, in literature, you have an opportunity. You can easily express, just understand the question, and when you express, create your own style of writing. That examination gives you an opportunity to present yourself, to create a new narrative style. You have to improve the narrative style. Narrative
Yes.
technique is the most important.
Maybe seeing these adaptations into the Bollywood or into the theater, they learn a lot of things. Even while they start to write, they would know how intense their dialogue should be, or how intense the emotion should be, or how their narrative style should really have impact the readers. That kind of a feeling sets in, and they can write much better. Then, when you come to the fiction as a social commentary, like addressing current social issues, how does fiction play a role in these social issues?
Fiction, it has a beginning, middle, and end. There are round characters and flat characters. All these are there. If they have to identify all that. If there is a beginning, there should have some conflict. Conflict plays a major role in fiction.
Correct.
If you have a conflict, either you should resolve it, you should deal with it, and then you should come out of that.
Correct.
So that when you start writing, when fiction helps them to create that conflict.
Correct.
Conflicts plays you should know to create conflict.
Right.
You should be a creator of conflicts, so that you have to create the conflict. You should create the conflict, and how each one deals with the conflict, whether they are resolving or they're still continuing with that, and how they deal with it. That gives them a lot of scope to write.
Yeah, it gives a
to
perspective.
Narrate.
Yeah,
to
new
narrate.
perspectives to write in their own style
In their
and in
own
a
style.
different
Narrative
way.
style.
Yeah,
Narrative
in the
style.
narrative style.
So,
So, coming to the creative process, okay. So, every writer has a unique creative process, and as being deep into the literary fiction and all that, what is your creative process, and what do you advise for imaginative fiction?
So, for my creative process, I use my research, my scholars. They come up with different ideas. Earlier, it's like a summary, summing up something, and everybody thinks what is there in literature to do research. Literature is life. It deals with life.
Correct.
And none of us agree that at all. But it deals with life. We can come up with a lot of solution. What is your message? I usually ask my scholars, what is your message? There are findings. If it is language teaching, we come up with the pre, post, and while reading, writing, and all the pre-process and everything. Same way, in literature, what do you have? What message you have for the society? So, for example, we were just reading different authors. When we try to categorize that, when we try to finalize that scope of the research, we were just looking at all those characters, and we came up with the idea that to deal with stages of women.
Okay.
How in a diasporic setting, a diasporic writer comes in the contemporary world, deals with different stages of women. How the authors deals with different stages of women. I was talking about Rajam Krishnan's the translation novel Girija, a middle-aged woman. and from the teenage until the for what shall I say, till 80s,
Old age.
old age, and how they deal with it, stages of women. And one of our scholars came up with something, and how food plays a pivotal role in the lives.
Okay.
Food and literature. That's
Right.
the in thing. Even we
Very interesting.
recently attended food and literature, food literature,
Food literature.
and fusion food. Fusion food, how it helps.
Yeah.
It deals with emotions actually. Food related to, usually whenever we marry, they say you enter through stomach. I was just wondering how to enter through stomach and all. Yeah, delivering a baby from the stomach.
From the
and
stomach.
how to enter through stomach. So it really
Yeah.
influences the emotions.
Right.
Food literature, it plays a major role. It deals with the personality, and it deals with the emotions, the emotional responses of an individual, and how they tackle that. What kind of food is essential for different purposes and different processes, and all these.
Food is such a simple thing. And even in food, how much depth you can bring in.
Yeah.
That is what is the creative process of the author.
We connected that with divine quality. We give prasadam. Why they give that prasadam?
Okay.
What is the significance of that? And how it enters into all these.
Yeah.
What vocabulary you uses,
Yeah.
how it can be merged together, and what kind of divine quality it brings in.
Yeah.
So emotion and food, language, all these plays a pivotal role. That can be
So
brought
you
up
are
only through
connecting
literature.
divinity, food, fiction.
Fiction, everything.
Yeah.
And then the other one, memoirs. They work on memoirs, they work on prose, and all these. My research field, the exploration of all these processes helps me to create something new, challenge everything. When they come up with all these ideas, it really gives a satisfaction. When I look back, I have a full satisfaction. It's not only something when I opted for literature in the home front, what you're going to do with Shakespeare. They immediately connect it with Shakespeare. English literature means Shakespeare. It's not so. It has lots.
Yeah,
it is our life.
So many
It
dimensions. It is so vast.
Yeah, it really enhances our lifestyle. That's what I shall say.
Oh, Doctor, thank you so much for so much of getting very deep into this subject. And I feel fiction, like being a very normal person, being a novice in this field. What I can say is, like going deep into the fiction, it also helps you think creatively, think critically. Then you also know how to come out of a problem solving techniques also. Then you really be one with the protagonist, and I think you go into self exploration or self awareness. So all these are very important in a personality of a person. So it is going deep into the literature, your personality itself, like it shines.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, we are dreamers, and we live our lives to the fullest.
And only when you dream, and make it a reality, then the amount of happiness or the amount of reaching your purpose in life, I think that gives immense satisfaction, I guess.
Exactly.
So thank you, Doctor, for what my advice to the youngsters is to read more and more, and even try writing. Is it not so?
Exactly.
Yes.
Reading clubs and India Reads and all those clubs. Even you made a mention, you have a club, you created a club in the society. If all of us take up that responsibility as a citizen of India, or as on the whole as a human being, if we take up that pledge to become readers, that would really help the society to grow more.
And you're doing a wonderful job of bringing all the complete English teachers under one umbrella. I mean, propagating the importance of the language and the importance of communication skills that they have to imbibe in themselves to be a successful person in the world. That is something amazing, amazing work that you are doing. And thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. I should thank all my mentors,
Yeah.
my parents, and my siblings, my family members, to have given opportunity, space to think, to act, and to execute everything in a wonderful way. Thank you.